give the green light to proceed their degrees. That is called the UGC approved degree. Now, as I told you earlier, the just UGC approved is not sufficient. You have to get the recognition from your degree from the ISL. So the ISL degree recognition, they will check after the first batch is passed out and say how they are performance. And there's a manual in the ISL website. What are the conditions to be satisfied to get the ISL recognition for the degree. Now, how to become a chartered engineer? Now, the first one is the student member, then associate member, then the chartered engineer. I explained this one earlier also. He should be an associate member plus about 5 years responsible experience, shall have work experience under chartered engineer in a recognized institution, and submit an experience report and a project report or design. For the civil engineers and the mechanical engineer, they have to submit a design. Others can submit project report. And there is a management paper, it's called the B paper. So this you don't know it until you submit this report. Once you get the associate membership, after 2 years, you can sit for this management paper. Then you have interview and technical paper based on this project report and your experience report. And based on this project or the design, there will be a technical paper called the A paper. So if you pass the B paper, A paper and the interview, then you will get the charter. Now this is in the ISL website, so you can sit there and see how to get the membership there. So any question up to here? Any question? You can type your question or you can ask the question. Asela, you want to add anything?
Mr. Tilak, you can go ahead.
Okay. I'll share it again.
I just hope that everybody has got the student membership, students already. ISL.
Okay, now you all are final year students. Now just after your degree, obtain your degree, get the immediate ISL associate membership. I will explain why it is important. Then the regulatory body. Now so far we discussed about the professional bodies. Now I am coming to the regulatory body. As I mentioned earlier, the highly recognized professions have their regulatory bodies. Regulatory body is a government body. It's a government entity. Why government establish these things are get the proper functions or the proper duty to the society from this particular profession. So the regulatory body is a public organization or government agency. This is set up to exercise a regulatory function, that is imposing requirements, conditions or restrictions, set out the standard for activities, enforcing in these areas or obtaining compliance. So regulatory bodies cover a wide variety of professions, but professions are regulated and may be self-regulated. A regulatory body might also be referred to as a regulatory agency, regulatory authority or regulator. So when you talk about the professional bodies, so they are doing some self-regulation, and the regulatory body is going along with the law of the country. The primary goal for a regulatory body is to serve the public. Now see the difference between the primary objective of the professional body and the primary objective of the regulatory body. The primary objective of professional body is to serve to their members because it's a member-driven organization. And primary objective of a regulatory body is to serve the public or the society. And they have to maintain the national standards. This is national level. National standards. A regulatory body is established on the basis of a legal mandate or legislation. So it's a legal body actually. Regulatory body is a legal body. Now these are some of the regulatory bodies in the country. Telecommunication Regulatory Commission. So industry, they are regulating in the telecommunication industry. Now, for instance, when you want to use a frequency, particular frequency, it should be issued from somewhere. If everybody is using frequency as they wish, there can be interference of the signal. So the tariff, now the telecommunication tariff or the broadband tariff, so the service providers cannot decide it as they wish. They have to get the approval from the Telecommunication Regulatory Commission. Asel, you can add something about the TRC.
Yeah. So yeah, there's nothing much, but what they do is
You are working
regulating
with the TRC, the long time.
Yeah, we work a lot with the TRC. Even when you are bringing down a mobile device, you have to get the approval from TRC and it has to be registered. The IMEI number has to be registered. Otherwise, it will not work in Sri Lanka. So such like that, they do a lot of regulatory work. And they have penal power, meaning they can punish people if they violate and they can impose penalties on people or companies who violate the regulations put down, because they are a legal body, similar to engineering legal body that we are going to talk in a little bit later.
Even they can blacklist the service provider or even the user or any mobile phone.
Impose penalties, if they violate the regulations, they can give a penalty and then maybe cancel the license for a period, like that.
Then another one, the Consumer Affairs Authority. And nowadays you can always hear about the Public Utility Commission. Mahajana single name Paribogita Commission. So the Upayogita
Commission.
Now I think they went for they put a FR case also against the energy minister. So they have a lot of powers actually. So without getting their approval, even the CEB cannot do any power cut. So they are looking up the economic, technical and safety regulator of electricity industry and the designated regulator for petroleum and water service industries. Not only the electricity, petroleum and water service industries. So they have a lot of powers there. Then Sri Lanka Medical Council, so they are the regulator in the medical profession. And Engineering Council in Sri Lanka, actually this was a very new one. This was passed in 2017, Act number 4 of Parliament Act. So their mandate is the maintenance of professional standards and conduct of engineering practitioners. Now we can see the same thing is in the ISL also. So they also have to maintain the professional standards and conduct of engineering practitioners. But the ISL, any rules or any law that is applicable to their members only. But if the Engineering Council put any rule, any law, any gazette, they can issue the gazettes also. So it is for the whole country. And the registration of different categories of engineering practitioners. So to practice as a doctor, they have to display there, this is my medical council registered number. Similarly, now to practice engineering, you have to get the registration for the Engineering Council Sri Lanka. And as per the act, it's the last one is to provide for matters connected to therewith or incidental thereto. This is a legal term. That means any other matters connected to this law. That means what? To enhance the professional standards and conduct of engineering, they can take the actions. And also they can advise the government what are the actions to be taken. And for instance, say the renewable energy. If the government is going to 70% of renewable energy in 2030, in the it is the policy of the government, then the engineering council can the propose or they can suggest the way how it can be achieved. To do that one, they can work with the industry. Also, they can work with the universities and do the research and development. In that way, they can contribute to the social and economical development of the country in terms of the engineering. So, engineering regulatory bodies in the world, almost all the countries have these regulatory bodies because engineering is a very, very important field nowadays. Now you can see the electricity, because of this electricity, because of the internet, the broadband connections. Now the how you are connected with the engineering in your life. So therefore, engineering has a very high prominence in any country. Therefore, there are engineering councils. So we have engineering council Sri Lanka, we have engineering council UK, so the engineering council India, engineering council Bangladesh, engineering council Pakistan, engineering council Malaysia. You can go and search in the web, you can get many engineering councils. So the actually, as I told earlier, we were Commonwealth country, and so we mostly followed the UK standards in Sri Lanka. Now you can see this is the inaugural ceremony of the Engineering Council of Sri Lanka. So that is 17 September 2019. So you can see the Professor Sarath Tabekon, he was a former Vice Chancellor of the Peradeniya University, and he was the first chairman of the Engineering Council Sri Lanka. And then the president came for the inauguration of the Engineering Council Sri Lanka office. So although this was passed from the Parliament Act in 2017, it's started their work in 2018, end of 2000, somewhere August, and the inauguration was occurred in 2019, September 17. This is in line with the World Engineering Day. And this is the act of the Engineering Council Sri Lanka, Act number 4 of 2017. So you can go to the web, we can search and download the Engineering Council Act, and we can see what is the legal mandate given to the Engineering Council Sri Lanka. So function of the Engineering Council in Sri Lanka, it is similar to Medical Council of Sri Lanka. I always refer in Medical Council because these two professions are going in parallel. And they improve the standards and conduct of engineering practitioners. So the Engineering Council Sri Lanka is responsible to improve the standards and conduct of engineering practitioners. And this will contribute to the socio and economic development of the country. So whatever the things we are doing, if it is not contributed to the socio-economic development of the country, no point of having that one. So therefore, the Engineering Council Sri Lanka also can contribute a lot for the socio-economic development of the country. We can see the manufacturing sector is the very minimal, and so many manufacturing can be done, so many research and development can be done, and we can get many innovations, we can get many patents. So these things should be driven by the Engineering Council Sri Lanka. And they are doing the registration of engineering practitioners. Actually, the so engineers, engineering diploma holders, and the technicians, and also the registration of foreign engineering practitioners. So anybody is practicing in Sri Lanka, foreign engineer, as per the act, they have to get the registration from the Engineering Council Sri Lanka. Now, I already explained the responsibilities of the Engineering Council Sri Lanka: maintenance of professional standards of engineering practitioners, maintenance of professional conduct, and registration of all categories of engineering practitioners, and provide for matters connected herewith for incidental thereto. And you better know about some insights of the Engineering Council. It's the composition of the Engineering Council. There are 17 members, And out of these 17 members, there are 4 ex officio members. So ex officio means they are coming from their designation. There are 3 deans from Faculty of Engineering state universities. So actually, when this act was submitted to the parliament, those days only 3 faculties were there, engineering faculty. That is the Peradeniya, Moratuwa, and Ruhuna. That's why I think that this 3 deans were included. But now there are many faculties, but